America, and welcome to Invent America, because America invents.
This episode of Invent America TV is brought to you by America's Inventor Lady and Home Talk USA. Home Talk is a proud member of the King's Broadcasting Network and has been bringing to you the best of America's home-based product innovation since 1998. This segment of Invent America TV is brought to you by the law offices of R.P. Baraska. RPB law offices have been bringing corporate-level legal expertise to the independent inventor community for more than 20 years. For all your inventing legal needs, trust rpblawoffices.com.
Welcome, America! That's right, all of you that's now tuning in from Home Talk USA. We want to welcome all of you to the Invent America show here on Invent America Radio, with the Cajun contract of Michael King and the one and only, the invented lady herself, Miss Rita Crompton. Rita, how you doing?
I'm fine. How are you today?
Man, I got to mention that great affiliate. You know, we always like to mention our affiliates all across the country because, Rita, as you know, people think we're just a podcast, but no, this is terrestrial. I know, this is terrestrial radio. We actually, somebody's actually putting us on the air, so, but hey, I want to put a big shout out to that Oregon station, KSLM 104.3 FM, and they also simulcasting on the AM station on 1220 AM. So I want to welcome all of our Oregon listeners out on the West Coast. We haven't forgotten you. Eventually, I can only go one a week, and we got so many radio affiliates across the country. I can only, but hey, we enjoy you. You've been carrying our show for a long time, and we want to thank all of you. But this is the Invent America show, and want to welcome all of you. Rita, a lot going on. We really got to go right into all of this. I know you wanted to talk about, how hard it really is to get to market, and I think we overlooked this. But I need to know, why are some technologies and some products are really harder than others, though? It seems like, you've been doing this a long time, and we've been, talking to all our affiliate partners we have in getting products to market from, A to Z. But it seems like sometimes some of them are just hard to do, or it just seems like, I don't know, is there a reason for that?
There's a variety of reasons. And, we try to help inventors understand sooner rather than later what they're going to run into. For instance, if this is your invention is something that's got to be licensed, used by a company. So, for example, it's got to go in a car when a car is being manufactured. Okay, they're nasty to deal with. They want to infringe on intellectual property. If you get a company, my industry expert used to be with Danco. Danco licenses intellectual property. They're going to let the inventor own the intellectual property. So when we look at then different industries, it is easier to do a car product that you're going to sell at AutoZone or Pep Boys, because now you can get a company that wants to say, nanner, big auto companies, we're going to do this and sell it to a regular consumer. It does not have to be put into the car when the car is being manufactured. We had, an inventor years ago that invented a new tractor. Oh, holy cow. He built a full-size running tractor. It was so cool. He wanted to license it to John Deere, so he painted it John Deere green. And when I went down and met him and took a ride on the tractor, it's like, paint the thing yellow. We are going to go to Caterpillar. John Deere is notorious for doing not nice things to inventors. So we look at, intellectual property expires. We have had for decades, and that's what we're talking about on our show today, is intellectual property, new versus old, and what a challenge it is on each end of that spectrum. Back in the early 1800s, a patent would last 3 years. Well, shoot, you can't even get it issued in 3 years now. Yeah, so now it lasts from the date of filing to expiration, 20 years. Well, that's great. But then what happens when you start ticking down on those years and you haven't really done anything with it yet? It's harder to get it licensed. Well, what happens on the front end if you don't have proof of concept prototypes and you've sold any? Equally as hard. So there are so many points, Michael, that are challenging for the inventor. And the more they know when they get into it, the better job they will do.
Well, I need to tell you, Rita, that's what made the History Channel, to be honest with you, everything you just said. I was watching the History Channel yesterday on peanut butter, the how peanut butter evolved, it's exactly what you said. You had the big giant of Heinz, who had a really horrible peanut butter, but it was Heinz. I mean, this big mega giant. And then you had this little guy who came up with Peter Pan, and boy, it changed everything. And he had to fight. And then he lost his intellectual property because he decided to license it. So now he came up with what? Skippy peanut butter. So I know I'm talking peanut butter here, but it's exactly what you're saying. And it doesn't really matter the product you're talking about, because if this is just in peanut butter, just as mad as guy that's got that tractor. I'm just saying. So you're right.
Not like he could hide it someplace,
I hate to lose you, Rita, but I will put your resume in. The History Channel is looking for hosts, so I'll throw your resume in there.
Okay,
but
thank you very much. Yeah.
You understand it, and you're right. It just depends on the technology or product that you're talking about, and how's it going to be implemented into the market. Is it going to be something you can sell right off the shelf? It's going to be pretty easy. You just got to get it on the shelf. But at the end of the day, if you have an intellectual property or technology that has to be, integrated into something else, then but then you have the government's going to get involved. Then you have the safety commission is going to get involved. So I can see what you're saying now.
Yeah. I mean, you get something that's a healthcare product.
Yeah.
Okay, so where are you in that arena of healthcare? Is this something that's going to be inserted into the body? Is this something that's going to lay on top of the skin? Is there, all over-the-counter products, that are, already out there? So they've already got the approvals. Is it something where you have to go after the approvals? There's so many different things in the different industries. And that's what we try to help inventors understand. And when we look at saying, all right, if you get out the door, you've got about 18 months before your patent is published and nobody can see it. Man, you got to run like crazy to get it out there, because at that point where it's published, now people can see what you're trying to do. Yeah. And they go, oh, this is a cool idea. Let's hurry up and get to market. Well, and we've said this over and over, time is not your friend when it comes to inventing. It doesn't matter if it's on the front end or the back end. We had a guy that had been getting royalties for 15 years on his product. We had licensed it to a company in Utah. Not anymore, because the patent expired and he didn't have any new intellectual property to file on it. So the royalties stopped, and that's part of the agreement. When the patent expires and anybody can make it, the royalties are over. And so he just sent me an email. He said, so the royalties are over, huh? And I said, oh, honey, you expired in October. That's the way it is. So he goes, all right, good run, but we're done now. And that's the truth. So when we look at intellectual property that's gotten older and isn't out there, well, who's been running with it? Who's been using it? And because it's public. And so we look at then, what can we do with it? How can we hustle it up and get it out there? Something that's brand new and say, all I've got are renderings. Renderings are drawings. I can do life on Mars in renderings. It doesn't mean that there really is life on Mars. So again, time is not the inventor's friend when it comes to hustling it up and getting it out there. But life gets in the way for everybody, and so you just got to do the best you can do.
Yeah, I tell you, I hate to bring back that peanut butter analogy, but again, you're saying it again, because what happened also, hydrated oil was not, when peanut butter was invented, hydrated oil didn't exist. That's the oil that they shoot with hydration to make the peanut butter last and won't spoil, so on and so forth. Well, the guy he spent 2 years he finally got it, and then somebody beating him to the patent, who came up with hydrated oil 6 months before his patent came done. So again, I know I'm doing peanut butter again, but it's exactly what you're saying. Just in a 6 month span, he lost his ability, but then now he had to go to the person that invented the hydrated oil to shoot into the peanut butter because it changed the whole game.
Yeah. But we had a lady that filed a provisional patent application, filed the non-provisional, went to market and found out that someone filed a provisional patent 2 days before her, and it was a partner who had been working with her. That was stinky.
Well, if Skippy Peanut Butter is out there, we could use a sponsor. So, hey, I know I plugged you a lot. So, hey, we're going to take a short break. We got a great show, great guest. Just stay with us right here. This is Home Talk USA right here on Invent America Radio all across the country with the inventor lady herself and the Cajun contractor, Michael King. We've been back with our first guest. Stay tuned. All over the country, all over our national radio affiliates all across this great country. We're going to be right back. Y'all stay tuned now. Y'all come back now. You hear? Yeah, man, we're going to pass a good time here.
This segment of Invent America TV is brought to you by SearchQuest Patent Search. SearchQuest provides for a comprehensive patent search that searches the entire world and not just the U.S. Patent Office. Make sure that before you spend those big bucks having a patent written, you've done your due diligence by getting a comprehensive patent search. Use SearchQuestPatents.com for all your patent search needs. They scour the world for you.
Welcome back to Invent America here on Invent America Radio on the King's Broadcasting Radio Network. All right. Well, Rita, I tell you, we got to get the show going here. I really want us to talk to Ken. So I know he's your first guest. So tell us what's going on with Ken.
Ken Parsons is my first guest today. He is an inventor, obviously. That's why we do Invent America, because America invents. We see a problem, we find a solution, and Ken has got a product called Sandman Sleep Systems. Ken, thanks so much for being with us today. And tell everybody, what is Sandman Sleep Systems?
Well, I was an auto mechanic for 30 years, and I got tired of waking up with that pinch that goes on in your neck and your shoulder and then hangs out for a couple of weeks. And, and every night when you go back to bed, it irritates it again and kind of starts it over. So I got tired of that. And I said, there has to be a better way. And so I thought, and I said, well, take the body weight off the shoulder. Well, it worked. And so I made a mattress that allows your shoulder to sink into it and no body weight on it. I eliminated the pillow also.
I've seen, the pictures and everything of it and thinking, oh, wow, because then I started paying more attention. I always sleep on my side and I get that pinch in my shoulder. So there you go. All right. So where are you in the inventing process? How long have you been working on it? What have you done with it?
I've been working on it for like 6 years, and life happened, like you were saying, and I got it patented, but then I kind of had other things going on. I had to let it go for a minute. But I pitch it to big companies, small companies when I can find them. Everybody is either too busy or they're changing positions next week, because I'll hit them up again and now they've been promoted and they've moved on and, oh, you got to find this guy now. So it's kind of hard. And I guess corporate America, people get promoted and they switch positions a lot. So it's been kind of tough to keep up.
It is. And, that's one of the challenges that a lot of inventors face. They'll say, well, I've been calling these companies, but I can't get through the gatekeeper, or, I've talked to 20 gatekeepers, and it's like, we'll get back to you. And nobody ever does. And, some of that is just their normal training on keeping people out. They go shopping at professional trade shows. Mm-hmm. And that's where, the CEO, the head of marketing, they're standing around having coffee, they're willing to talk because that's what they're there for. And, they go around looking for new things because that's what they're there for. And then they go play golf. But, when they're, at work, they've got layers of gatekeepers. So it doesn't really matter how cool yours is. Someone has been taught to say, oh, he's busy today. He's got an appointment today. He's being promoted next week. Call us back. So yeah, that is a very common problem. So what is your goal? Do you have prototypes?
I have a prototype, and it's the one pictured on my sell sheet. I don't know. I don't have a copy in my phone, but
it was lovely. You did share it with me. And, that was where I was able to say, oh, get my dots connected with what you were explaining and what we could visualize. So that was terrific. And, certainly made sense. Do you see that, they would need to be different sizes versus men and women? And what if you don't sleep on, obviously, if you're a married couple, you don't want to be sleeping on twin mattresses. How's that going to work?
Well, it kind of helps to cuddle easier. Well, because think about it, when you spoon, say somebody's laying on somebody's arm and then fingers start tingling, okay, and everybody's got to get disrupted and move and all that. And they, stay awake half the night after that. But it goes across. It is fine. You can go from your back to your side and from back to your other side and on your back, or you can get on your stomach if you want and put your arms in the groove. And it just kind of works out all the way around.
It's one of those perfect ones. It's like, duh, why didn't they come up with something like this, 50 years ago?
Yeah, it amazes me because beds have been flat since the Flintstones. So
yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
Yeah, and innovation, right? So.
Well, exactly. And when they were sleeping on the ground, they didn't dig a trench for their shoulder.
Well, maybe, we don't know. We did find authorized ditches and little grooves in the ground. No, I don't know.
You never know. You never know. Maybe they were smarter than we are. So what's your goal, Ken? What are you trying to get to?
Well, I'd like to get it licensed, and have, see it hit market and see people have a better attitude during the week, after sleeping on their shoulder all night,
It's amazing how those dots get connected, nicer person. Oh, yes, because I slept all night and I wasn't in a lot of pain.
Exactly.
So yes, yeah. I get it. And especially for folks that are getting older.
Yeah. Everything hurts. So it doesn't matter how you lay, but this seems to work pretty well. I mean, it could be fine tuned, but that'd be kind of like for everybody. I know there's a shoe company out there that makes orthotics that you step on a platform and it has different colors on a screen and it tells you where all your weight is and this and that. Well, if they did that, and they do that with mattresses, but they could use that and then really dial in the foam densities and whatnot for, your hips, your shoulder, your torso, legs, with the.
Well, we are going to see what we can do to get the word out there about the sleep system that you invented. I think it's really cool. And so we're going to try to help you out and see if we can't get that licensed. And you're kind of in that, all right, patented. And so let's run with it and see what we can get out there before that patent gets any older at all. So thank you so much for being with me today. We will be in touch later this week. And if you are out there and you know an inventor who needs some help, who has some questions, or somebody says, I've got an idea, what do I do now? Have them give me a call. I answer my phone. So stick with us, everybody. We are going to be right back with another really cool inventor.
If you're an inventor or you know an inventor out there who would just like to be able to have a conversation with other inventors, join the Inventors Roundtable. It's free. The meetings are virtual, so you can be anywhere in America and talk to another inventor. And for a lot of folks out there, understanding the process, being able to ask questions, getting good service provider information is critical to the inventing process. So, got questions? Want to join? It's free. inventorsroundtable.org.
Thank you so much for being with us for this segment of Invent America, because America invents. And we will continue to solve consumer problems, probably for at least the next 200 to 300 years, because that's what we do. We like it. This segment is brought to you by TrueView. It is the only accurate rear view image product out there, so that when some big truck is coming up on the driver's side, those mirrors that show them in the wrong position, TrueView shows it in the right position. So as it's pulling out of the mirror, it is pulling into your peripheral vision. It is a perfect way for you to see what is right next to you. So no more jerking over as something comes up and surprises the daylights out of you. Know what is coming up right beside you. Saves a life. So anyway, TrueView at cargocatch.com. So my next guest is George Gilmet, and he has got a road fixing crew product called George, tell everybody what it's called. I've got the Gilly Grader down. It is the Gilly Grader Road Worker.
I designed a piece of equipment to do shoulder work, actually, right off the side of a dump truck, and eliminates a lot of handwork. You have, of course, this particular truck is designed it's used by the highway departments around the country to salt their roads. And I just take what they use for salting off, the spinner and stuff, and mount my grader right there. We have a chute, and there's a chain coming down the left side of the truck body that feeds the chute and puts gravel out. And this grader of mine grades it down and all in one time deal. So you can adjust the height of it, so you can leave it above the road a little bit, so you get compact it and make it work. I've been dealing with this for 10 years now, having a problem getting it into marketing because of financial issues, but I have sold several in quite a few states here in the area, and I'd like to get it into the market over nationwide.
Okay, so let me ask you a couple of questions then. So your patent is a little bit older. It issued 10 years ago.
Yes, I got my patent back in 2016, I believe.
Okay, so that's kind of where you are. So it's a matter of hurry it up. We got to get this done. So, have you seen you've manufactured some. Do you make them one at a time as you can sell them, or do you have an inventory?
Right now I have 4 of them in stock. I try to keep about build 5 at a time, so I can, I've done 2 or 3 in a week at one time, installing them, putting them on the trucks and stuff. It's a very simple install. After you get the measurements off the truck, it can actually be installed in 5 minutes and removed in less than 5 minutes. So if you have an issue out in the road and you need to, get a washout or anything along the edge of your road, you can install this grader within 5 minutes of time and get out and do the project.
So it would be basically for sand, different size gravel, that kind of thing, basically for a road crew. So now you can have a truck and a driver do it. You don't have to have the whole crew out there moving stuff around.
Right. Just eliminated a lot of handwork and when I first came up with this idea, we were out doing shoulder work on the highway department where I was working in Maine. And we dump gravel on the side of the road and have to rake it by hand to get it to where we wanted it, and get this stuff done right. And just thinking about there's an easier way. And I walked into the shop and there was 5 dump trucks sitting there that all we had to do is put a chute on it, put the gravel so it dumps into the shoulder, and then have this grader follow it. And then all you had to do is follow with either a roller or a compactor, and your shoulders were done. It's cost effective. It's not an expensive piece of equipment. One of the projects I done in the town when I was the road agent, we saved $18,000 on a project because we didn't have to pay somebody to come in with another piece of equipment to do the job. And $18,000 for a little town is a lot of money.
You bet.
And that's why I designed this. It's actually to make the job easier for everybody and to get get these jobs done. When you rent these pieces of equipment to do the job, you're spending almost $4,000 a week. And that's also pretty expensive for a town. And
but when you look at where they need to do the road work, in the mountains, in the national parks, where, all of a sudden you get a torrential rain and they've got to get it out there. A lot of times there's not enough crews to go out and do that. If you can just do it with a truck. When I was in college, I drove a truck. I hauled asphalt and gravel. So I truly do understand, driving a dump truck. And most people find that, amazing that it's like, oh yeah, no, I hauled gravel and asphalt in the Black Hills of South Dakota. And
yeah, it's product. It's operating on the driver's side of the vehicle, so you're going against traffic when you're working. However, when you're doing a construction project, the road you close down that lane of traffic anyways. You have some people that complained about that being on that side of the truck. Well, the truck is designed to have the salt delivered on the right side, on the driver's side of the truck. So this made it more convenient. You can see what you're doing a lot better. So, that is one of the reasons, having this just saves a lot of time and work for all these small departments.
So you would go to then any trucking company that's manufacturing the trucks that, has the add-on tools and materials, any town that's already got the trucks that wants to save money, any type of transportation department. So who am I missing, George?
Well, your state highway departments, your local highway departments, some companies, some trucking companies, that do plowing in the wintertime would have this type of truck, and they could actually make it usable 4 seasons instead of just using it for the winter work. If they just bought it to do snow plowing and sanding, they'd have another option to go out and do, start a business doing shoulder work for towns, or if you have long driveways that need some, that have shoulders. I mean, the edge of your driveways, you can fill in the edge of your driveways with gravel. This is, it's available to be used by several companies. Also, with this product, they have a different truck that has the chain in the middle and that does the same thing, but it brings the product to the back of the truck. I use this same product by just making a different bracket off the back of the truck that can put the grader out in the back further, and they can use this to do the shoulders also. Also, with the slide-in sanders that a lot of towns have, just by building a bracket off the back of the truck, you can, make that other, it can be made for use with a lot of different type of trucks.
So wonderful. And so, as you've gone out there and you've been working with this, have you noticed any competition out there as far as new gadgets?
Nope, I haven't seen no new gadgets out there. And when I went through the process, I mean, I was shocked that there was nobody building anything like that in the world. Actually, that's why I decided to go ahead and go ahead with the patent process, because I didn't want to infringe on anybody, and I don't want nobody to infringe on me. But after, I mean, there's a few more things that we could do to this product to make it even easier to use. Right now, I use a hand crank on it to bring it up and down, but most trucks have hydraulics in that area. So if they want, some of the towns that had bought it, they actually put a hydraulic cylinder on it to operate it up and down. So there's, the product is there. I have it available, and I'm trying, like I said, I'm trying to get it in the manufacturing more than anything, because I've just received a call a week ago that someone wants to be a distributor. However, I cannot build them fast enough for that type of work.
Yeah, it's hard for you to have a distributor when you don't have manufacturing set up that's mass manufacturing, not 2 or 3 at a time. So I certainly do understand that. George, thanks so much for being on today. We are going to do what we can to help you get that product out there. It is an honor to meet you and have that as something that we can use. So stick with us, everybody. We're going to be right back with our industry expert. He has done a lot of this with patents new, patents old, and one of his products, the patent probably just expired, and it's sold still all over North America. So stick with us. We will be right back with Michael Miller.
TrueUp, the easiest way to hang your pictures. We all know how stressful picture hanging can get. TrueUp comes with everything you need to level and hang pictures with no damage and no mess. Just peel, apply the adhesive to the back of the TrueUp mount and press firmly. Remove the remaining adhesive. Use the level and press and hold for 3 to 5 seconds to attach the TrueUp mount to your wall with a strong hold. The TrueUp frame adapter is compatible with most frames on the market. Apply the adhesive strip to the adapter, stick, and your frame hangs easily on the wall mount. This lets you adjust your picture side to side for perfect placement every time. The possibilities are limitless, and it's easy on your walls. Picture hanging can be truly a one-person job. TrueUp, the future of hanging is here.
And thank you so much for being with us for this segment of Invent America, because America loves to invent. And my industry expert is Michael Miller. Michael, thank you so much for being with us today. I appreciate it. And you've been working with inventors for a long time. So intellectual property is an absolute must in your world. What's the advantages of, or disadvantages of too soon or too late?
Oh my gosh, it can go both sides of the spectrum, as you know, Rita. The thing with having a patent that has been issued for a period of time is that you can actually look back and see and look forward and see who has issued other patents that are even close to it. What are other inventions that have come that have started being competitors to that product? If there's not a lot, that's great. It's a great pattern to start moving forward with and do more with. Um, with a new patent, of course, it's new, it's fresh, it's out there, and it also lends itself to additional patents to being added to it to develop a little bit of a portfolio of patents around a particular invention.
It's so funny because I always think somebody will ask me, it's like, so what did you ever work on? And it's like, go Google disposal genie and tell me what you think. It's like, okay, how fast can we sign up now that we've looked? Because it is still listed as being sold everywhere.
Yes, absolutely. And you'll also see a portfolio of products around it as well, and different inventions that followed on to that initial invention. So, as you know, a company that I worked for is the one that licensed that product for, oh my gosh, a lot of years. And but then we also developed other patents that actually were follow-on patents to the initial one, and just kept that whole ball rolling for many, many years.
And I think that that's where a lot of inventors kind of drop the ball, is if they don't keep paying attention as things change, the way it's made changes. I mean, we had a lady that got a patent on the machine, and a gentleman who's still selling his product and selling it all over the world got a patent on the machine that makes it, because the machine that makes it is so unique to get the product where he needs it to be. And as you bring on additional products, a lot of times those additional things, as you're developing the product and getting it out there, and people are saying, oh, what about this and what about that, it keeps then the original alive longer, because now a lot of times the new one is related to the old one.
Absolutely. And you keep on thinking about, how can somebody work around my patent? And what would be new, innovative ways that they can work around what is it solving? How is it solving it? And are there new ways to do that? And you can just keep on building upon that. Or are there new, unique ways to use that patent? Which is also very, very important. Is there other, industries that it can be used in, other parts of your house that it can be used in? Those are really critical questions to ask yourself all the time.
I know over this last weekend, we had a big team meeting, and one of our new products is called Slice Away. And it's originally intended to be, a disposable pizza slicer. So it's sold with all the pizzas. All right.
Mm-hmm.
But we're all sitting around the table and we're trying to get this cake out of a pan. It's like, okay, who's got the Slice Away? We should be using it on this, and then we start talking about all the different ways we could use it. And it's like, what about when you have a whole tray of plants you've just planted? Now it's a gardening tool. And everybody's going, holy cow, we didn't think about that originally. But there's a lot of things out there that when you start really thinking how it can be used, one of the biggest crossovers we see is surgery versus a mechanic's car tool.
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
when a mechanic comes up with a new idea, that's like, I really don't understand why surgical tools are in conflict with mine, or why I'm infringing on somebody. It's like, you remove a bone, you remove an engine, you're still removing something that you've got to be really careful of.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the other thing too, from a licensing perspective for an inventor, that's one of the critical reasons why whenever you do a license agreement, to really think hard about whether it's going to be completely exclusive, or if you're going to be able to license that product possibly to various different industries, and those would each require different license agreements, and then be non-exclusive for each of your licensors in each different industry.
Yeah, we run into that from time to time, and we look at then, is it best to license through the licensee, or is it best to, have the licensee say, no, we're exclusive in this area, go ahead and do the other one. So we always look at the first licensee as kind of being able to have some of that guidance, because it's about the numbers. And then we look at different packaging.
Absolutely.
So there's, ways that we can do it out there, but the big hitter then is the licensee. And for a lot of the independent inventors, the only way for them to really have a chance is to go through then somebody who's got the bigger bat.
Oh my gosh, yes. I mean, you cannot have all of the knowledge that would be in a company that would license your product. You're not a marketer in many cases. You're not somebody who does online sales. Shipping departments, regulatory departments, legal departments. Oh my gosh, it just goes on and on and on. Somebody that just develops packaging and the verbiage on the packaging, somebody that designs the packaging. I mean, oh my gracious, for you as an independent inventor to now go and look at each individual segment and get knowledgeable about that, by the time your patents already ran out.
I know, it's tough. So, Michael, thanks so much for being with us today. It's always a pleasure to have you and your insight on.
Thanks, everyone, for joining us today. We will be back next week with more stories on getting products from mind to market. We will have new inventors and industry experts. So join us and have a wonderful week.